Okay, question 4. It is the dreaded writing out the scales question, which was always my most hated question on all of these, just because it's very easy to just, make a silly mistake. But we're going to try not to do that. And in this example, it's asking us to do crotchets. So use crotchets and write 1 octave ascending of the harmonic or melodic minor scale. That's interesting. So it's giving us a choice, right? That begins on the given note. Do not use a key signature, but write in all of the necessary accidentals. Okay, so we only have to worry about the way up because it's 1 octave ascending, but it is giving us a choice. We're going to have to decide which one of these that we're going to go for. So let's go with the harmonic minor because, well, just because that's what I've chosen. And we're looking for the scale that starts on the given note. So what is this note? Well, it's the first line, which is E, and we're in the treble clef. So that's going to be E. So we're looking to write a scale of E minor. Now, again, the first thing I would do, and I'm going to try and space these blobs out again because I thought that looked really good when I did that in the last one. So if it's given you the whole line, you might as well use the space that you've been given. Also gives you lots of space to write in any accidentals that you need to put in, because we are going to need to put them in in the actual place where they would go next to the notes rather than at the beginning in a key signature. So I've kind of done it. I didn't quite manage to get it spaced out right to the end, but I tried my best. You could give me some marks for trying at least. And I'm going to add in my stems now, thinking very carefully about what point they should start going in the opposite direction. So we've reached the B here, and that's the middle point. So I'm going to make these go downwards, like so. And there we go. So we've now got one of every note. We've got an E, an F, a G, an A, a B, a C, a D, and an E. So we've got 2 E's, but we've got one of every note in this scale. So we're getting close to the end now. What's left is we need to write in the accidentals. And the way we do that, particularly in a minor scale, it gets slightly more tricky because we've got to, first of all, know what the general key signature is and know what the key signature of our minor scale would be. And then we need to make the changes that create the particular flavor of minor scale that we want. So, I've made videos about the 3 main types we'll get, which is the natural minor, which is where we don't have to do all that much to the scale. We just use the key signature and we just write out the scale, and that will work. There's the harmonic minor, where we raise the 7th note of the scale by a semitone. And then there's the melodic minor, where we raise the 6th and 7th note of the scale on the way up, but then we lower them again back to their normal place based on the key signature on the way down. So that's all a bit crazy. So if minor scales, they're always a bit more tricky than major scales. If they're confusing, I would say just go back and maybe revise what goes on in minor scales, because they are a little bit more tricky than you would find in major scales. But we can manage this. This is all cool. So first of all, we've got to work out what is the key signature of E, because even though it's not asking us for a key signature, it is kind of requiring us to know what would be in that key signature. And again, it would be so cool if you'd written out the circle of fifths, particularly with the major circle around the outside and the minor circle around the middle, because your circle of fifths would look something like this. And it's just on this second step, well, this first step even, around the circle, we would get to this G. And so G major is the key signature that has 1 sharp, and E minor is the minor scale that shares that key signature. In other words, E minor is the relative minor of G major. And so that's probably what we need to be thinking here, is say, well, first of all, what's our key signature? Because we need to take care of that first. So because we know the key signature, if we were to write one, would be 1 sharp, we need to add that into any of those particular notes that we find. So it would be 1 sharp, and that would be an F sharp that we would find in our key signature. And so we probably need to make any Fs that we find in this scale a sharp. So that's what we'll do. So here's our first thing we need to do is add a sharp to this F here. Because of the key signature that we would have in this key, we need to add it in, but we're not doing it at the beginning, we're doing it next to the note. So that's the first step. And that's kind of fine. And then what we've got here is the natural minor variant of this scale. And that would be fine. So if it was saying write the natural minor down, you'd be in the clear at this point. But unfortunately, it's asking us for the harmonic or the melodic minor. And we said we were going to have a go at the harmonic minor. So what we need to do is take this natural minor scale that we would find if we just used the key signature and raise the 7th note by 1 semitone. And so the 7th note of the scale is this one. And so we're going to need to raise this note by a semitone. And because it's a D at the moment, we're going to make that a D sharp. And that gives us our E harmonic minor scale. So I also need to write in here that I've used the harmonic minor version of the scale. Phew, that was more tricky than in grade 1. So I think it's obvious that we've learned a little bit since we took grade 1 before we can do grade 2. Section B is saying, using crotchets, write 1 octave descending of the major scale that beings on the given note. I assume they mean begins. You see, even teachers make mistakes, right? So do not use a key signature, but write all the necessary accidentals. So using crotchets, write 1 octave descending of the major scale that begins on the given note. Do not use a key signature, also important, but write all the necessary accidentals. Cool, okay, we could do that. What is our first note? Ooh, well, this is interesting. So we've not got a white note on this particular example. We've got a note with a flat next to it, which means that this is going to be a scale of a flat, flat scale. E flat in this case, because it's the top space, facing the space. E flat is the top space. And so we're going to need to write out a scale of E flat major. And if we used our circle of fifths, or if we just knew this, it turns out that E flat major has 3 flats in the key signature. So we've got B flat, E flat, and A flat to worry about. So there's going to be lots of flats in this scale. As we go down and we go through the various different notes of the scale, we've got to be very, very sure that we've added in all the flats that we need to do. So let's have a go at this first. First of all, let's try and write in all of the notes. So we just need 1 of every note. This is dead easy because you just go down through the lines and spaces to I've not spaced them out very well again, but there we go. I've tried my best. That's all we can do. And I might straight away actually just put in a flat next to that E, because I know for sure that there's going to be an E flat at the top and the bottom. The number of times I have seen people write out scales that have an E flat at the top and an E natural at the bottom, because don't forget, those accidentals only matter for the exact pitch that they're written next to. So if you go down an octave, you have to tell us again that it's an E flat. You can't just say, oh, well, I've done an E flat there, so it's fine, I can just leave it now. They only last for a bar, that's also really important, and they only last for the exact pitch that you've written them next to, so that's really important as well. But anyway, let's stick on our tails, and we're going to do the same thing of being quite careful about when we go up. So we're going to go up now. This is all looking good. We've added in our sticks to this scale, which is excellent. And then all that's left really is to add in our flats to make sure that we've got the flats. So do we need a D flat? No. Do we need a C flat? No. Do we need a B flat? Yes. Because the B flat would have been in our key signature if we had one. So we need to stick one in here. Do we need an A flat? Also yes. Because it would have been in our key signature as well. Do we need a G flat? No. Do we need an F flat? No. Do we need an E flat? Yes, because it's called the scale of E flat major. So I'm pretty happy with that. I reckon that is pretty much what it asked us to do. Using crotchets, 1 octave descending, major scale. Don't use a key signature, write in all the necessary extensors. Yes, I think I'm happy with that. We've done all of that. Half you. There's only one more to do. Write in the necessary accidentals to form an ascending scale. Again, spelt wrong. An ascending scale of A major. So, let's have a look at this. Well, we're not writing in a key signature again. What we're doing is we're writing in the sharps and flats as we go. And again, this is one for the circle of fifths, or something you should just know, that A major has 3 sharps in the key signature. And those are Father Christmas goes. So any Fs that we see, any Cs that we see, and any Gs that we see need to be turned into sharps, and so that's what we'll do. So we're in the bass clef. Try to catch us out by giving us 2 in the treble clef and then 1 in the bass clef. We're going to go for absolute perfection and realise that it's in the bass clef. So here's our C. In the key signature it would be a C sharp, so we need to add it in here. And the same is true of the F that is here and the G that is here. Oops. That wasn't very good. I'm going to do this sharp again, just for my own personal satisfaction. Yeah, still not very good, but that'll do. So those are our scales. I think we've managed to write those in, paid really close attention to exactly what it was asking us to do, and got the right notes with the right accidentals in the right place. So I will see you for the fifth and final part of this test in the next video.